Hi there, it's Linzi Upton the Quilt Quine at Festival of Quilts 2022 on Setup Day. I'm going to take you on a bit of a behind the scenes look at what goes on at Europe's biggest international quilt show. Everything from little tractors that have got the rubbish, there's a gin bar over there, and I'll even show you what goes on setting up a long arm stand. So let's go in that direction. So one of the things you need if you're demonstrating sewing machines is electricity. So these guys are just debating where to put all the plug sockets. We've got boxes all over the place. Got a few quilts on the wall. And everybody's awfully busy, except me, because I've got the camera. Hi there, it's Linzi Upton the Quilt Quine at the end of Setup Day. And what do you do then? You go for food. So here we are in the pub with the Bernina tea. Can't wait for my tea. Oh yeah, shall I go around again and they can wave? So, are you going to wave for me tea? Hello! It's alright, I'm still practicing. It's always best to arrive early because you get to see everything before everybody is in the way. The Bernina stand looks different this year. It's all decked out in Cafe Facet colours because there is a Cafe Facet gallery on the other side. So I'll just take you around there. Here we go. Isn't this nice? Still getting things ready. Hello! Hello there. Well, here's something that doesn't always happen. We've actually had a power cut. Got to be time for coffee, I reckon. Everyone's very busy here on the long arm stand. We've got Nick showing off one of the sit-down machines. And over here we have Aggie with the small studio frame and the Q16. Nobody's on Chematic at the moment. And we have Tracy showing how pantos work as well. So we can do everything here. Hello. Hello. So here we have two people from Bernina headquarters who do not sew, and they're having fun on the Q machine.
I do a little bit of sewing. Do you want to see my
Yes,
my
excellent. Ta-da! See? Fantastic. So, it's 5-ish in the afternoon. You've got a couple of choices of what you can do now. Either head to the gin bar, or, better plan, go and see the competition quilts and get a clear shot with your camera. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, we are in the miniature gallery, so we'll just have a little walk through, I think. Sorry about the post. They're exquisite. They're 12 inches square. I'm going to bump into something in a minute. Okay, one of the favourite parts of the show for me, quilted creations. Anything from frocks, coats, hats, bowls, bags, even flowers, and a skateboard. It's wacky, inventive, clever. Love it. How about that? A KitchenAid. Always of interest to me in the show, two-person quilts, i.e. usually quilts that have been long-armed. Apologies if I miss any, but let's just have a walk about. we don't feel seasick by this filming technique. Sadly, when you're working at a quilt show, you don't really have the time to go and look at the quilts properly. It's always a bit of a whiz. So, not necessarily scrutinising them as carefully as they deserve. Group quilts are always fascinating. They vary from tweeness to political statements. This one is very interesting. It's been worked on by 78 different people and it's got all sorts of messages within it. So here's a few more. I think we're still in group quilts actually. Collaborative effort. Visitor's choice over here. Very fitting for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Now, where are we heading now? Let's see. This quilt is double-sided. 18 group members from the Exe Valley. Look around the other side. Oh, cool. I think I might be in the pictorial section. So let's have a little look at these. I have to admit, I do lose track of where we are sometimes. Oh, it's the Quilters Guild Challenge. I'm not quite sure what the theme is. I have to find that out. Okay, here's a few art quilts for you. Where are we now? I suspect this could be contemporary. It's often quite difficult, the crossover between contemporary and art. Oh, I love this. A sunbonnet Sue take on The Handmaid's Tale. Not fun. Well, not fun, to be honest. Contemporary. Should have gone to that lecture about the difference between contemporary and modern. There's a super double wedding ring. In contemporary. Judge's choice. We get all sorts. It's an open show. This looks like it could have been made of duvet covers. Hand stitched. Mustn't forget the ones that are tucked in the corners. Nice colours. This really is only going to give you a sense of the show. But there's all sorts. in contemporary.
Someone else filming.
Am I still in contemporary? No, we're into modern now. MD, that's what that stands for. Don't ask me to explain what the nuances are. It's usually something to do with colour, composition, and negative space. But that's just a very broad brush. Nice pink one. A statement quilt. I do wish they would give more info. I haven't got a catalogue. It'd be nice if there was a wee label beside each one. Some of them have got very minimal quilting. A lot of straight lines in modern, not exclusively, but it's a common approach.
Well, once this is made of copper tail, will be yes.
Now where are we? Traditional. Okay. Traditional is another funny category because it can be hand quilted or machine quilted. It can be lots of little prints or not. Now I think this is actually modern on this side, not to confuse you. There we are, traditional. Now see, I would have put that in contemporary personally. And that one. But that's me. I often get confused. Right, let's look at a few more. These ones are, where's this from? Does that say Australia or no, it says Australia, not Austria. Really should put my glasses on. Lots of little prints. Whoops, spin you round. Hawaiian quilt, judge's choice, that one. Ridiculously tiny hexagons. Must have been very patient. Very small log cabin pieces. But it's quite a modern looking log cabin. Right next door to a pretty traditional log cabin with tiny little exquisite embroidery centres. And then I thought I made big quilts, but oh boy, this one is massive. That's got to be well over 3 metres. There's another Hawaiian one in blues. Now there's a beautiful whole cloth here. Rather difficult to see in this lighting. Let's see if we can move in and have a closer look. There we go. It's actually hand quilted by Anne Diggory, Paradise Garden. It's very bright. Some Liberty-ish quilts. Some are long out. So it's a very diverse category. Now NV stands for novice. So let's have a look. Well, some of these novices are very talented. think I'll have to take you back through to pictorial. Burning pain, me, and I won't finish this. That's very interesting. Oh, burning pain means I won't finish this. Very clever. Hogwarts. Harry Potter fan. Okay. Now, what are these over here? Let's see. Japanese lady. Oh, there's a needlepoint lady and then a bigger kimono wearing lady. Okay. Pictorial. Always very diverse. And indeed, you could, I reckon, put some of these pictorial quilts in the art section. If there's a blank space, it usually means that something's been moved to the winner's gallery. Right, let's have a wander down here. I do apologise if I've missed your quilt. As I say, it's just a quick whiz through. I have to admit, it's quite fun to do quilts with a friend, and you can share your opinions. This looks like an antique quilt. That's quite amazing. Chris English and Unknown Maker.
Just such an inspiration.
Something about Britannia.
You see all sorts of things that you never have.
Here's some more pictorials. Dogs, people, statues, seascapes. Even shop fronts and unicorns. This one over here was cutlery. It's called Home. Is that the back or the front? Let's see. Oh, here we go. James Hunting, laying it on thick. Now there's one after my taste. Love a bit of shiny stuff. I wonder what they've used. Reflections, it's called. Still in the art category here. Well, there's one by Ricky Timms. Great to see him in the competition. Well, I'm bound to have missed something. But I'm glad I went for a look. Have I been here before? Really not sure. Right, looks like we've got time to do some of the galleries. Now this one is called In Spotlight Contemporary Quilt, and they are all fairly, I'd say, lightweight hanging panels. They're not all lightweight, but some of them are, and they are beautifully wafting in the breeze.
Okay, thank you.
hate being in such a rush. Look, we have a quilt with actual punctures. And
They're
even
all the
a
rage punctures.
20,000 sided dodecahedron. I'm sure that's not its mathematical name.
Pretty clever.
Let's have a quick look into the Quilters Guild Museum collection. This should be quite diverse. So here's the outside wall. And in we go. So it's a mixture of historical items. Here's a quilt, it's possibly the back. These are all the papers. Jockey cap patchwork, maker unknown, sometime between 1840 and 1903. And then we have more modern stuff. 2019, Melanie Nissen-Keating. Sarah Impey, 2005. The Quilters Guild does own a very interesting variety of quilts. I wish they'd owned some of my quilts. It's taken up far too much space in my workshop. Just happened to be going past the main banana stand, which is all decked out in its Caith colours. And this is Caith's gallery behind it, so we might as well just walk round while we're there. Here we go. There's Benina's telly, it's got all the info. Morning, Emily. She's got dark glasses on. I don't know what that means. There we go. I'll tell you what, I'm on a roll. This is Michael A. Cummings. Never quite sure whether you're allowed to take pictures in galleries, but I am. What's that? Okay, we're going into African American Quilts, IQM, Nebraska. So all sorts in here. Very G's Bendish. Technical term. Shall we have a walk through some of the stalls while it's quiet? Some people haven't woken up yet, can you believe that? I think I'll go down this way. It's more colourful. Lots of things to tempt quilters, garment makers, knitters, etc. I don't know whether they're selling these frocks. I would rather like them. Here we go, that was a big sigh. I think they're patterns. That's interesting. Even I might not wear that much rye. African fabrics, I might have to have a look at it later. No shortage of fabric here. Look! Looks like it's going to be Christmas soon. And that concludes my rounds for the morning as I approach the Benina long arm stand, looking very tidy and open and quiet. That'll soon change when the doors open. It's quite late on Friday afternoon and things have calmed down substantially, so it seems like a good time to have a little wander round some of the side galleries. So, first off, we've got the Roderick Kirakoff collection. I think he's got a book called something like see if I can get the little camera to look at this one on the floor. We've got two little organza bunny rabbits and a fluffy binding. It's quite surprising. There's a simple one on the back wall which looks like it's made out of old curtains, possibly. It says found in Texas made between 1940 and 1960. Purely practical. Now here's a really big one made with yo-yos, and it's from Ohio, 1964. So they've obviously dated the fabrics. And here we've got, now I think that's some sort of advertising logo perhaps. I don't know, interesting. Okay, that was just a quick shufty. We're going into the European Quilt Association, EQA, and this is just some examples of some of the best stuff from Europe. What have we got going on in here? Well, it's a variety. We've got, I don't remember what you call this. It's where you remove the dye from the fabric, so it's some sort of bleach effect. That's kind of a cutaway applique. Do you just love the way I've got all the technical info, haha. We've got some hand quilting, Welsh style. This one is hand quilted as well. Beautiful. I do actually know the quilter who did this, and Lilleholm. She is Dutch, in fact. There are all sorts of different approaches. This one is Spanish. Oh, you can't see it properly because I'm not holding the camera. There we go. We've got a traditional looking tumbling blocks. And then on the end, we've got a Frida Kahlo. And here's a really lovely one made of shears. I don't know if the camera's even going to pick this up. And it says on the label 2 layers with space, all white without wadding. Silk organza. Super. Right, moving on. I think I'm going to be taking you... Oh no, we're into Dani Amazonas. Now, these are really fabulous pictorial quilts. You may have to stand back from some of them. This is koi carp. Look at the colours, absolutely amazing. Got a flamenco dancer over here. There's a wonderful seascape. This one is a bit Degas in style. We've got the girl with the pearl earring. We have some bison. Absolutely love this street scene here. It's so vibrant. Then we have a dog portrait. Very cool. Okay, it's a bit busy in that one. I'll do that later. Right. Now, we are approaching, here we go, the Fine Art Textiles Award. This category is my quilting nemesis. So you might be fascinated to see what's in this one. I've only got work juried into this once, and well, I have to admit it was a joke. Okay, so there seems to be a trend for using neutral colours. I don't know if that was a stipulation. Alright, so let me stand back so you can see the stuff. There we are, it's like a big bean pod. I'll try and work out what that is. Earth's Embrace. Now there's a big blurb for these. I actually love this. I don't know if you can see it. It's a human form made out of felt seaweed. I think that's really cool. Let's see what else there is. This looks a little bit like the Turin Shroud. I think it's machine embroidery. This one is called The Weight of the World, in a glass case, and it's 2 years to research and hand stitch in the form of a Jewish prayer shawl. It's got lots of stuff written on it. You really need the catalogue, I expect, to find out the full story. This is going to be difficult to photograph, I think. It's silk, and it's something about Griffith's endogenous depression. Oh, okay. Right. Moving on. Okay, we've now got a thing called stems and stalks. This is very clever. It looks like coral and stuff like that. It's really good. Here we go. There's another 3D piece, which is actually rats. It's called Transient Myopia. Something to do with moths in Madagascar. And over here we have one called Excavation, which is domestic machine and knitting. Okay. Righty-ho. This one here is called Underfoot the Earth Divine. Hang on, I'll stand back. It's kind of religious looking, actually. Alright, okay. There's a weaving piece here on the plinth, which is called Rhythm of the Weave. And a big blah blah blah. Okay, now we've got the Migration Court. Now it says it's made of linen, it's a tapestry. And this is about the people who decide if you're allowed to migrate into a country. It's a cool little portrait. It's a self-portrait by Jane Saunders. It was stitched on a vintage sewing machine. Textile artist in Newcastle. I like that one a lot. Now, I'm working my way up towards the winner. And it is this one. Okay, I don't know if the camera's picking it up nicely. So we've got a lot of circles and matchstick quilting. It's called Table Settings. 4 weeks of dinner tracings with pencil and thread on recycled household linens. Drawing, free motion, machine quilting, couching, applique. So there we are, and I'll just take you round to the other side. And we'll see. Have to say, actually, I think this might be the correct side and the label's on the wrong side, but you know, that's just my observation. So, I hope you enjoyed that little tour of the fine art masters. you always have to keep your eye out for something slightly unusual. So this collection is called the Grenfell Memorial quilt, and there look to be 3 of them, commemorating the people who died in the Tower Block fire tragedy. All sorts of people who worked on these. It's a commemorative quilt. And right next door is the Bernina and Guild collaboration Covid Quilts. 3 of them, in fact. All sorts of contributors again to each block. All the activities that people did in lockdown. And again, remembering people who didn't make it through that pandemic.